Hello, everyone. Good afternoon and welcome to today's webinar. Today, we're going to talk about SRC-PIM, our roadmap or product updates, basically, and the first AI functionality that we have introduced in our PIM. When I say we, I introduce myself. I'm Peter Verhooyen. I'm marketing manager working at SRC since 5 years. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Paul. Paul, maybe introduce yourself for a second.
Yes, my name is Paul Laan, the product owner of SRC-PIM at SRC. And I will be presenting some topics on our roadmap and, of course, the AI functionality.
Yes, I will do some introduction, which I'm doing now. So welcome everybody again to the webinar. And I will also monitor the questions you might have during this webinar, behind the scenes as it is. And I will ask them at Paul or at our account manager for PIM at the end of this webinar. So we'll keep the questions for the end of the webinar, but you can ask them at any point using the chat functionality or the questions functionality. So that being said, let's go to a short introduction on AI. I think by now we all know what AI is and what it does. We are all familiar with ChatGPT, I guess, so I don't have to tell you anything about that you don't already know. AI is framed as the fourth industrial revolution, and it is already revolutionizing how we are working, and it will revolutionize the way that we are working in the future for sure. So it can be quite difficult to find the opportunities in 1,001 applications that you can do with AI. For every field, for every job, there are AI functionalities that you can use. And so at SRC, we also have thought long and hard about what applications AI can provide for us, for our customers in SRC-PIM, that can help you work more efficiently, reduce your workload, get more done, basically. So we wanted to implement some AI functionality that actually helps you, instead of that we just implement something and that we can say, okay, check, we did AI in PIM, now we're done, now we can put that on our website. So the goal of this webinar is to give you a preview of what we have done. Paul is going to tell you all about that in a second, to give you a view on the product roadmap and the product updates that we have done. And last but not least, we really value your input, both on our roadmap, both on possible AI functionalities or possibilities that we maybe might have missed, but that can be valuable to our customers in the long run. So don't hold back and let us know. Thank you. So with that being said, it's time for me to zip it and give the words to Paul Laan.
Yes,
thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you, Peter, and welcome everyone. And as said before, I'm going to discuss a number of topics that are on our roadmap. And of course, at the end, also the AI functionality we have added and are planning to add afterwards. And the last bullet on the last slide of Peter is a very important one, your input. The topics that I will be discussing are on this list. So the supplier portal, workflow, digital product passport, and AI finally, last but not least. And the supplier portal and workflow are existing functionalities, and the improvements that we are doing now and are planning to do are based on feedback of the real users of this functionality. And that makes it that our development will go in the direction that our users value. So the first topic on the list is the supplier portal. The first a small introduction of what is a supplier portal. Sometimes you have information, you buy products from a supplier, but you also need that product information for your processes and on your sales channels like websites. Of course, you can type all that information yourself, or you can ask your suppliers to log into your portal, and that's a separate section in the PIM solution. The suppliers can access it and create and manage their own products. So all that information, the source is the supplier, and they can log into your to your PIM area and do what they want to provide on information. Suppliers can do that one by one, but they can also import product information in bulk using an Excel import. Now, the future improvement that we're actually doing right now is that an owner of this portal, so of this separate area, can create a new product for a specific supplier. So you can create the product that you're interested in, and that will become visible to the supplier when they log in. And the second one, of course, just creating one product is possible, but also to import an Excel sheet with many products for a specific supplier. And maybe already including information that you already know about these products. And then you can also combine it with workflow so that the supplier knows, oh, for this product, I have to provide extra information. And you can also make that visible. What is the information that you are looking for from this specific supplier? So that's the first topic, the supplier portal improvements. And the next one is the workflow that I also mentioned with the portal. What is the workflow functionality? Often collecting product information takes a number of steps, and each step can be done by a different person in or a different department in an organization. And with the workflow module that we have, you can model that process, and each step in the process you can define what information is required and what would be the next step in the process. And at the bottom of the screen, you see a screenshot of what that would look like in the form of tasks for each specific user in this process. So everyone knows what to do and when. Now, the feedback that we received on this is the ability to select more columns in this task list so that you can add, for example, a product description or brand or any other type of information that you have available as a column in this list. And of course, the next step to filter on that specific information. So you can, for example, select everything from the same brand or everything that contains a certain word in the description. And just to manage the to-do list to a manageable number, or maybe a brand that you're specifically responsible for. And the next option, if you have set up this filter, to perform a bulk action on all the tasks within your filter. For example, approve all of them at once instead of doing it one by one. Now, the next improvements in the workflow area is email notifications. Of course, when you log into PIM, you see the tasks that are there for you. But if you're not logging on to PIM every day or on a regular basis, you would like to receive an email notification that there are tasks for you on your to-do list. So that's all coming from actual users' wishes they have, and which we will be providing step by step in the future. The next topic is the digital product passport, and that's a popular topic that's more and more, for example, on LinkedIn and in the news, based on the Green Deal by the European Commission, that every product that you sell in the European market, you have to provide a digital product passport with information about the impact on the environment and how to repair it, how to recycle it, that kind of information. And in this area, we have a partnership with a company called Sirmar, and they already have a digital product passport available. So what our plan is to cooperate together, because of the information that's on the digital product passport is mostly product-related information. It's logical to manage it in your product information management system like SRC-PIM. And once complete, publish it to the digital product passport. And that's not only a one-time, one-off, but of course also to keep your product passport up to date. There's a separate webinar specifically on this topic together with Sirmar. You can register on LinkedIn to see that, to join that webinar. And we both, SRC and Sirmar, are also hosting a Shopping Tomorrow initiative around this topic of digital product passport. And then, last but not least, the AI functionality that we integrated in PIM is a functionality to translate descriptions. We support multilingual, multi-language attributes, and that looks like this. So there's the option to have multiple languages for product variant description, for example. An English text is already provided. And I also want to add a Dutch text. And by clicking on the plus, I can add more languages. So I can select a language from a large list of ISO languages, all the languages in the world that are there. You can type a few letters and then, for example, select French as a language that you want to add. A new empty line will appear for French text. In the past, you were now able to manually provide the Dutch and the French translations. But now, using AI, you can select the source language. So in this case, English is the source language. You can click on the new AI menu and select Translate. And it will use that source language as the source to translate to the languages that you have selected. In a new screen, you will see the source text that you've selected, and it will generate suggestions, translation suggestions in the selected languages. If you like the translations, you can individually select them or select them all using this checkbox at the top. You're also able to make small modifications if you want to. And finally, if you are happy with what the text looks like, you can click on Apply at the bottom right. The suggestions will be visible in the specific attribute. Again, here you have the option to modify the text a little bit if you're not fully happy. And in the end, of course, save the translations, saving you a lot of time. Instead of having to think of the text and type it in, it's really a click of a button to have text in different languages. And this is now available as a free trial for SRC-PIM users. This is the first functionality, AI-powered functionality. And in the future, we will be adding more text functions like generation of descriptions. So the first description was now already available, but in the future it will be possible to choose generate, and it will generate a text in the selected language based on the product information that's already available. Again, of course, with a suggestion, you can modify it until you're happy. And the last one that is on our roadmap for now is a paraphrase. Sometimes the text is fine for a certain channel, but maybe you want to paraphrase it for another channel or for another purpose or for better SEO results. And there the paraphrase option can be very useful. And that was it for the presentation point of view. And now over to the Q&As.
Thank you, Paul. I think your presentation was super clear because I have not received any questions yet. So if nobody has any questions, we can wrap it up really quickly in even 15 minutes, but that's not our goal. So if you would have a question, type it quickly so we can still cover it. I think it's good to recapture a bit on what was told during this webinar. So the free trial is available for all SRC-PIM customers. If you are not a customer yet or you want to try the trial out, have contact with sales. I see a question coming in. That's very nice. Thank you. To generate a description, what sources will be used to get a description? I think this is about the generation aspect, not the translation aspect. So, Paul, could you give us an idea on that?
Yeah, well, actually, that is one of the areas we're investigating, and feedback is really welcome of your ideas of what would be the most important information you would like to use to generate a product description. Usually, the unique selling points and maybe the brand would be suggestions. But just like with the translation dialog that I've shown, where the suggestions are shown and where you have the option to modify and to select them. Of course, we will design a screen for the generation as well, where you have to select what is the information that I want to provide for generating text. But any suggestions or feedback are, of course, welcome in this area.
Yeah, I think I have another question that is actually a really good suggestion to put on the roadmap. The question is as follows. Are there plans to implement AI to classify products based on marketing text or product name, GS1 bricks or ATIM classifications?
It's also one of the, let me go back to last year, we had an event called SRC Connect, and I asked the audience what would be the applications using AI that you value, and this was also in the top 5. So it's not in the top 3 that I presented today, but it is in the top 5. So it's one of the options to add after these 2 are added.
Yep. One more very interesting question on AI, and we also have another one coming in on digital product passport. Let's do the AI one first. For AI, who is the owner of the copy that is translated? Can you learn the AI not to use certain terms? How will that environment be protected? For example, products under embargo, that they cannot leak out via AI. I think that's a tough one.
It's different, multiple questions, but let's start with the first one. It's copyright-free translation. So whatever the translation is that is suggested, you can use it. You're the owner of it. What was the second part of the question?
The second part of the question was, can you learn the AI to not use certain terms?
As it is today, as it is now, translation, that's not an option, but it is an option to add extra functionality. To make a list of forbidden words or fixed word uses that you always want. We could add functionality like that in the future. That's a good suggestion.
And you're always in control of the translations. You can always edit them if terms would appear that you do not agree on. You can always edit the translations. The third question was, how will the AI environment will be protected? Can my product information leak through AI to the outside world?
Well, of course, we are using external AI service, but they guarantee that this information is not used for further learning of their networks or used otherwise outside of their service. So yeah, we can guarantee that this information will remain within the secret area, let's say it like that.
Okay. A question on digital product passport. Will there be an application available to generate QR codes powered by GS1 via bulk, for example? I'm not familiar with bulk. I don't know if you are familiar with that, Paul.
Yeah, to generate QR codes for multiple products. There are no plans at the time by us, but for, I don't know, for Sirmar, I know there is a QR code on their passport. So maybe we can refer this question to the separate webinar on DPP, because Sirmar will be present as well, and they will probably know from their point if this is possible.
Okay. Then a question about workflow, really short, easy one, I think, for you. Do you need to be a PIM user to be a part of a workflow?
Yes.
I thought that was going to be a yes
That's
or
a
no
clear
question.
answer, yeah.
Yes. Another one on AI. Will the AI learn from the input we give within SRC-PIM, so it learns our way of business communication?
No, it will not learn based on previous input, but this is also a good suggestion. Not now, but in the future, we might make it possible to add more context on how to generate or a tone of voice that you would like to use, to make that configurable somewhere in PIM, so that your translations will take that into account.
Yeah, and I see one more suggestion coming in that we can really put on the roadmap, and that's the following remark. Could it be possible to use AI to inspect images in the DAM, so the digital asset management module, and give the correct GS1 codes for image classifications? I think that's a really interesting suggestion.
For classification?
For image classification, yes.
Okay. Okay. What type of image? What type of image is it? Yeah, it's a nice suggestion. Yep. No plans yet, but thanks for the suggestion.
That was a lot of questions at the end. Thank you so much for all of those, because we really appreciate it. Oh, I see another one coming in. Do you need to generate multiple passports for the same product, which will be delivered on different locations of the same organization? The CO2 footprint will also depend on the delivery location. That's yeah.
That's a very in-depth question for me. I can give an answer of my feeling about this. I think the one product would be enough, and then you would have to average the transport, because you have different transport lines and different transport lengths. Then maybe an average would be enough. But also for this one, let's refer this one to our partner Sirmar, just to be sure.
I think we can rest assured that a lot of people in this webinar have great ideas on our functionalities and our roadmap, and we will follow up on all of them. So thank you very much for all your suggestions and questions. And with that, I think we can wrap up for today. So thank you, Paul, for delivering this great roadmap and presentation. And I wish everybody a very nice day. Thank you so much for attending.